news for a comment she made on her podcast. Sophie Cunningham's week that keeps on giving has hit a new high. She started out the week on Good Morning America, and now she is closing out the week starring in an Adidas commercial highlighting the new shoes that are about to be released. Sophie Cunningham has taken the ball and ran with it. For that, Sophie Cunningham, kudos to you. Making lemonade out of the lemons that you've been given. Capitalizing on your newfound fame, your newfound stardom. Being a part of the Indiana Fever. Defending Caitlin Clark. You got
the Adidas commercial just dropped, and man, it cemented Sophie Cunningham's status as a total viral star. But get this, right as the world was celebrating her huge new deal, Sophie herself sparked a total firestorm. She openly said she wanted a bigger contract and even listed other cities besides Indiana for her future. The timing? Brutal. The message? Crystal clear. Her newfound fame, pumped up by Adidas, put the Indiana Fever in such a tough spot. Was she using her exploding brand to strong-arm them? Or was she basically saying she's out of here? Everyone in the league was holding their breath, wondering if this commercial was a big celebration or a strategic power play that could just shatter the Fever's championship dreams before they even got started. This wasn't just a shoe ad, it was a battle cry for her worth, echoing through every front office.
So, lads, today we're going to be talking a little bit about Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham's podcast has got a lot of people saying, giving their opinions on this, and people don't realize how good Sophie Cunningham is at basketball, and how important having Sophie Cunningham is for the Fever winning a championship. Look, there is a caveat, and the caveat is Caitlin Clark on the team? If the answer is yes, then I'm not joking when I say
Sophie Cunningham was absolutely everywhere, from Good Morning America to a bunch of endorsement deals like Arby's and even a ring company. Her career trajectory just shot through the roof. But it was that Adidas commercial highlighting new X colorways and Damian Lillard's shoes that really kicked off a whole new era. This wasn't just some small cameo, no way. It was undeniably her commercial, putting her front and center, not just alongside another star. Adidas, being super smart, saw her TikTok and Instagram numbers exploding and totally recognized the raw marketing power she now had. They saw the money, they saw the star potential, and they hit that push button, capitalizing on her overnight sensation to turn all those eyeballs into sales. This wasn't a coincidence, not at all. It was a perfectly timed, strategic move, building on her momentum and culminating in this huge ad that just changed everything for her brand. The big question though, what would all this mean for her team?
As asking the question, is Sophie Cunningham coming back? Are the Fever front office going to blow this? Are the Fever front office going to offer her a max contract? Before we get into it, would you guys offer Sophie Cunningham a max contract? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe. Let's get right into the commercial that has people talking about Sophie Cunningham as of late.
All new X colorways from Adidas and Damian Lillard.
Say night-night to your opponent in night purple. Be in your element with black sulfur, or cause a shock with electric pink.
So, where's electric pink? The commercial itself was a bold move from Adidas. They totally bypassed the usual lineup of big-name stars to give Sophie the absolute spotlight. Her electric pink nickname, paired with her fiery on-court personality, was honestly a marketing dream come true. This whole rollout, featuring her so prominently, was super meticulously planned. It was definitely not just luck. It was a calculated move designed to get maximum exposure, leveraging her recent appearance on GMA and her booming social media presence. Adidas saw this untapped potential, not just in a player, but in a brand magnet, plain and simple. This level of solo endorsement for a WNBA player, especially with such perfectly impactful timing, really showcased her undeniable value and hinted at the growing power she now holds in the basketball world. But could the Fever even keep up with her rising star?
Is Caitlin Clark on the team? If the answer is yes, then I'm not joking when I say this. Sophie Cunningham is a way better fit than Lexi Hull. Way better. Like, I don't mind. I'd keep both. And you can afford to keep both. But Sophie is a way better fit than Lexi Hull. If Caitlin Clark is on the team. If you are running it back with a Kelsey Mitchell-led team, where it's a lot of, for lack of a better word,
And then came the bombshell. Sophie didn't beat around the bush at all about her next contract. She clearly said she wanted a bigger deal so she could buy a house and just be homey and cozy. And then she casually rattled off potential landing spots like New York City, the Minnesota Lynx, or even Minneapolis. She was pretty much signaling that she's totally open to options beyond Indiana. Look, this wasn't some subtle hint. It was a direct challenge thrown right at the Fever front office. Her comments, made public right when her viral fame was peaking, sent alarm bells ringing for both fans and management. Was this a real desire for a new home, or was it a strategic negotiation tactic, using all her new leverage to lock down a higher value deal? The implications for the Fever's roster stability were absolutely massive.
This.com. Availability, sizing, color, website address, and prices may vary by region. Please check with local retailer. And remember, always game time responsibly.
This is pretty much a Sophie Cunningham commercial, let's be honest here. This isn't her alongside another WNBA player. This isn't her alongside another NBA player. This is a Sophie Cunningham commercial selling these new Dame shoes. Adidas sees the money that Sophie Cunningham is, see the star that she is becoming, that she continues to become, and said, yep, we're gonna capitalize on that. She's already been underneath the brand. She's already been affiliated with Adidas, and they said, let's push that.
So, the dilemma for the Indiana Fever immediately became pretty clear. How exactly do they handle Sophie's demands when they're already making plans for future max contracts for Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston? While Sophie might not get a full max deal, her expectation of a really substantial raise could totally complicate their salary cap flexibility. The team would need to figure out if a solid quality contract, something close to a max, maybe around $500K or $600K per year, would even be enough to keep her. But here's the thing, offering her a max could potentially mess up their ability to hold on to their foundational stars. This wasn't just about Sophie's value, it was about the super delicate balancing act required to build a championship roster with limited resources.
Shoots better regardless of volume. She is a better slasher than Lexi. She is a better three-point shooter than Lexi. She's a better passer than Lexi. Her offensive IQ is higher than Lexi. Her ability to be a defensive stopper is higher than Lexi. But Lexi Hull is the best in the league at what she does. Like, this is not me saying you choose one or the other. But which one fits significantly better beside Caitlin Clark? Like, archetype role, what you need beside a Caitlin Clark? Sophie. When Lexi touches the ball's gone up. And this isn't like a knock on Lexi. I want to keep both of them. But like Sophie...
Despite her contract demands, a lot of analysts are saying Sophie Cunningham is pretty much irreplaceable for the Fever, especially when she's playing alongside Caitlin Clark. Her unique skill set just fits so well. She's a versatile defender who can guard positions 1 through 4, a low-volume scorer, a solid three-point shooter, and a great lateral passer. She does a whole bunch of things to tellicical help Caitlin Clark win a ring, unlike other specialists. She keeps the ball moving and contributes without needing to dominate possessions, which is crucial for a team built around high-usage players like Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Losing her would mean sacrificing a really critical piece that connects everyone, essential for both team chemistry and tactical flexibility on the court.
Let's get some of those eyeballs onto our product, and hopefully that can help convert some sales. Sophie Cunningham, salute to you. So many people would love to buy some Sophie Cunningham Adidas merchandise. Please make it happen. Don't want a PE, I want her own shoe. I gotta be honest. The term electric pink for Sophie Cunningham, electric pink? Applause. Kudos. Marketing. Dollars. I don't hate that.
Her fit with Caitlin Clark is a huge reason why people see her as so indispensable. When Clark is on the team, Sophie is considered a much better fit than some other players. While those other players might be great at high-volume shooting, Sophie just excels regardless of how much she shoots, which makes her perfect for a team with multiple primary scorers. She's a better slasher, a better three-point shooter, and a better passer. Plus, she has a higher offensive IQ and much better defensive stopping ability. In a lineup with Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, players who can score on low volume, lock down defensively, and move the ball are absolutely paramount. Sophie embodies all of this, providing that crucial balance that lets the star players shine without messing up the overall team cohesion.
2-3, like most of our biggest games and our best games before the playoffs were with Sophie on the floor. But what people don't understand is that she has an ability to play 1 through 4. Like, look, she's not a great point guard. She can't really dribble the ball, but she can set up that offense. Like, you can set up an offense through her. She will get the ball moving side to side. Like, she has more of a point guard brain than any player in the Fever not named Caitlin Clark. She passes laterally.
The argument against replacing Sophie with a specialist is really fierce. Critics are saying that finding another player in the draft or free agency who can do everything Sophie does is just nearly impossible. A lot of players out there might be great at one thing, like shooting, but they just don't have that defensive versatility or the ability to facilitate offense on low volume. This idea of bringing in a 3 and no D guard is seen as a major flaw, because those kinds of players can't even stay on the floor to make an impact. Sophie's track record is proven. She started in a WNBA Finals, and some folks even argue she was the Fever's best player over a 10-game stretch last year. That just highlights her elite utility and game-changing potential that you can't easily replicate.
At this little rollout that we got for Sophie Cunningham this week, it's not a coincidence. I'm sure this commercial was shot weeks ago or months ago, but it's no coincidence that we have Good Morning America on Monday and we close out with an Adidas commercial. That's how this is done. You build and you build and you build. You reach that climax, boom, hit them with the commercial. Salute to Sophie Cunningham. I like the nicknames. Extra Spicy, Electric Pink. Absolutely awesome. I'm so happy to see Sophie coining it. I'd like her to get enough money to buy a house so that she can play for the team she wants to play for, not be focused on the earnings.
Her career before the Fever also really adds weight to her current leverage. Even before her big season with Indiana, Sophie had already built up a considerable following with the Phoenix Mercury. She was known as MAGA Barbie and had already cultivated a big TikTok and Instagram presence, so she wasn't just some unknown player who popped up. This year, playing alongside Caitlin Clark simply took her existing star power to a whole new level, just accelerating her marketability. She didn't just capitalize on Clark's arrival, she built upon an already established personal brand. That really shows her savvy and how well she navigates the off-court parts of pro basketball. This pre-existing foundation just makes her current viral fame, and yes, her contract demands, less surprising and way more impactful.
Side to side, like she has more of a point guard brain than any player in the Fever not named Caitlin Clark. She passes laterally. She is the only player not named Aaliyah Boston who swings the rock on the entire team. But fans are so obsessed with, oh, we need to get a max contract small forward. No, we don't. We have 3 max contract players. We don't need any more. We saw Jewel Lloyd take an entire season to learn how to become a role player. They did not need Jewel Lloyd to be Jewel Lloyd. They needed Jewel Lloyd, the role player. And it took her a season to figure it out. We already have that player.
Okay, so what's next?
She wants the house money, no pun intended, to come from a basketball team. She wants the house money to come from her main job, so to speak, playing basketball. And who's going to give her that contract? Well, Sophie Cunningham speaks on what she wants in her next contract.
And I think the next team I play for, I want a bigger contract, so then I can buy a house and be homey and cozy.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy, right? It could totally be the Liberty. It could be New York City. Or it could be the Lynx. Or Minneapolis. You just really don't know where she might end up.
It could be anywhere.
Now, here's the thing with Sophie Cunningham.
The argument that Sophie is irreplaceable totally extends to her unique point guard brain and that lateral passing ability. It's a rare trait on the Fever roster if you're not talking about Caitlin Clark or Aaliyah Boston. She can set up the offense and just get that ball moving from side to side, acting as a crucial connector for the team. This isn't about being a traditional point guard, but her basketball IQ and passing vision are absolutely vital. Fans often obsess over finding some max contract small forward, but the team already has a player who can fill that role effectively and contribute in ways a pure scorer just can't. She's the kind of player who already knows how to be that versatile role player, someone who adapts to the team's needs rather than needing a whole season to learn everything.
Jewel Lloyd to be Jewel Lloyd. They needed Jewel Lloyd, the role player. And it took her a season to figure it out. We already have that player. We have that player that can do what Jewel Lloyd did in the playoffs, and it's Sophie. Like, let's not forget, at the time of her injury, she had literally gone through a 10-game stretch when you could argue that she was the Fever's best player. You could argue she was the Fever's best player over a 10-game stretch right before she got injured. Like, she's fantastic, and there are not many other Sophie Cunninghams in the league. Like, Bridget, like, Kayla McBride might be like the one player I'm like, okay.
Replacing Sophie Cunningham effectively could mean signing 3 different players, not just one. You'd need one to replicate her shooting, another for her defensive versatility, and a third for her connective, offensive play and her willingness to accept any role. Finding a single player who can seamlessly slide into diverse situations and perform at, say, a 7 out of 10 rate across multiple positions is just nearly impossible to find. They're a unicorn in this league. This isn't just about raw talent, it's about that unique blend of skills, adaptability, and a real team-first mentality that Sophie embodies. The cost of replacing her, both financially and in terms of roster spots, would honestly likely be more than just simply keeping her.
Yes, that moment against the Connecticut Sun where she put JC Sheldon in a headlock while putting her fists up, crazy work. Nice work. That took her to a level above that. But even when she was on the Phoenix Mercury, Sophie Cunningham did have some cachet. Sophie Cunningham was building a name for herself as far as her TikTok goes, as far as her Instagram goes, as far as her likeness goes, as far as her appeal goes. She already had the nickname MAGA Barbie, like it or not, over there in Phoenix Mercury. So she already had some
So, the Fever leadership is left with a stark choice. They either pay Sophie Cunningham a competitive contract, even if it's close to a max, or they risk totally dismantling a crucial piece of their championship puzzle. The idea of offering a 1-year max deal has been floated as a potential solution, which would give the team some flexibility while still rewarding Sophie for her value. Look, with Kelsey Mitchell not on a max contract, and Clark and Boston still on their rookie deals, the Fever can actually afford 4 max contracts. This cap space should absolutely be used to keep key players like Sophie, not just to bring in new talent. This isn't about being cheap, it's about smart resource allocation for a team that has genuine championship aspirations.
There's no player in the draft. If anyone tries to tell me that one-dimensional 3-and-no-D Garzone is a good player, and this is the problem, is like, everyone wants these specialists, Jesus, but they do one thing. I'm like, I don't care if Gianna Niepkins can shoot 40% from 3. If she can't guard a parked car, she's not going to be able to stay on the floor long enough to shoot 40 to make an impact. Like, people are like, oh, we can get these players like Garzone, Niepkins. Like, people are actually saying that these are players that are comparable to Sophie Cunningham.
If the Indiana Fever decides to let Sophie walk, it would send a really clear message. The narrative out there is that if the Fever wants to get rid of Sophie, it's because they want to get rid of Sophie. This isn't some salary cap necessity. It's a deliberate decision. Such a move would drastically cut down their championship window, not just for next year, but for the foreseeable future. Trading away a player who's a perfect fit and helps Caitlin Clark win a ring, especially when they can afford her, would be a critical misstep. It basically says they prefer accidental basketball over a strategically built, cohesive team designed for sustained success.
Now the question is, what is she talking about as far as the deal goes? Are we talking $400,000 a year over the next 4 years? That's house money. That's enough for a house. $600,000 per year over the next 4 years. What, a 4-year, $24 million contract? $2.4 million contract, excuse me. 4-year, $2.4 million contract. She gets $600,000 a year. That's enough for a house. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a max contract to get Sophie Cunningham to stay on the Indiana Fever. It just needs to be a quality contract. We respect what.
Which brings us back to Sophie's recent comments about wanting a bigger contract and mentioning other cities. Those can definitely be interpreted as a power play, right? It signals that she completely understands her market value and she's just not going to settle for less. Adidas, by making her the face of their new line, essentially validated this rising worth she has. The tension with the Fever isn't just about money, it's about recognition. Sophie is leveraging her individual brand growth, and she's demanding that the team meets her new status. This commercial, far from being just a simple ad, really became a public declaration of her enhanced value, putting the ball squarely in the Fever's court to respond.
And they can still put together a real championship winning team by keeping Sophie. And to replace Sophie Cunningham, you are going to lower your championship window. Because to replace Sophie, you literally are going to replace what Sophie does, you might need to sign 3 players. To replace what Sophie gives you as a with her shooting, you need to sign somebody. To replace what Sophie gives you as her defensive versatility, I'm not saying she's a great defender, but what I'm saying is she has the ability to be a 6 out of 10 defender at 3 different positions. To replace that versatility, you need another player. To replace
The implication of so
Get this, one of the biggest takeaways from Sophie's comments and that Adidas commercial is that she now has significant individual leverage. She's got the looks and enough of a following to secure deals with or without the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. Her marketability totally transcends her team affiliation, giving her options far beyond just basketball contracts. This newfound independence really complicates negotiations for the Fever because she's not solely relying on her team salary anymore. Her brand is truly becoming an entity unto itself. This means the Fever has to compete not just with other teams, but with the possibility of her blossoming off-court career and the potential for even greater financial opportunities elsewhere. Ultimately, that Adidas commercial acted as a powerful public endorsement of Sophie Cunningham's soaring star power. But it simultaneously ignited a critical discussion about her future with the Indiana Fever. Her contract demands, voiced during this peak of viral fame, put the organization in a really difficult, high-stakes position. Do they commit significant resources to keep a player who many see as irreplaceable, a player whose unique skill set perfectly complements their foundational stars? Or do they risk losing a crucial piece of their championship puzzle, potentially sacrificing future success for what they perceive as financial prudence? The decisions made in the coming months will absolutely define the Fever's trajectory. The saga of Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever represents this modern dilemma in professional sports: how teams navigate the rising individual brands of their players. That Adidas commercial wasn't just a marketing success, it was a catalyst, amplifying Sophie's voice and her demands. If the Fever fails to meet her value, they risk not just losing a player, but dismantling a carefully constructed vision built around Caitlin Clark. The choice is clear: prioritize the perfect fit and championship aspirations, or face the consequences of undervaluing a player whose star is burning brighter than ever. Their decision will reverberate far beyond the court, truly shaping their destiny.